Headed home, job done, but this is far from mission success. The last British troops have withdrawn from Afghanistan following a 2-week evacuation effort. A difficult finale after 2 decades of war. And then, the big question, was it worthwhile? The Prime Minister said, 20 years ago, in the wake of the September the 11th attacks, the first British soldier set foot on Afghan soil, aiming to create a brighter future for the country and all its people. The departure of the last British soldiers from the country is a moment to reflect on everything we have sacrificed and everything we have achieved in the last 2 decades. The nature of our engagement in Afghanistan may have changed, but our goals for the country have not. We will now use all the diplomatic and humanitarian tools at our disposal to preserve the gains of the last 20 years and give the Afghan people the future they deserve. That humanitarian spirit on display over the past fortnight as British troops pulled off the largest military evacuation since the Second World War. More than 15,000 people flown to safety, including British nationals and Afghans who worked for British forces and faced threats from the Taliban. But a US deadline of Tuesday for this US-led mission to end meant many more had to be left behind, desperate, abandoned, and that hurts.
I'm afraid it's absolutely heartbreaking that we can't bring everybody out. And I think that point's been made very strongly, certainly by the Defence Secretary and others over the last 10 days or so. Personally, I've probably had over 100 messages from different Afghans who I know in my long association with the country. And many of those friends of mine won't make it out. And for me, not a day passes without me having a bit of a tear in my eye about all of that.
This former interpreter was blown up while on patrol with British forces in 2007. Now in Birmingham, Rafi says hundreds of colleagues are stuck in Afghanistan at fear of death from the Taliban and with no ability to escape without Britain's help.
Going to a third country requires passport, visa. Those things are pretty much at this stage impossible for them to get because there is no functional government to issue passport. And these other countries are, at the moment, as far as we know, they are unwilling to issue any visas for the Afghan nationals.
You yourself, you worked with British forces in Afghanistan. You were blown up because of your service. How are you feeling now, living in the UK, looking at what's happened to your country?
I'm saying this on behalf of all those Afghans that I'm in contact with, and I'm echoing their voices. We feel betrayed by the Americans and NATO forces. We feel let down.
In Kabul, it's over to the US forces to hold the line before they too exit. And then what for this country? Back under Taliban control, women's rights again at risk, and with a real and present terror threat. Just as it was back in 2001, when British and American troops first arrived. Deborah Haynes, Sky News.